You admit, ma'am, that he.
And that's very typical of the personality type I'm dealing with. There you have it.
You simply cannot make this shit up. You admit, ma'am, that he did so much for you. But now that you're married, you're complaining about the type of attention that he would give you, which was the same amount of attention that he gave you in a relationship. He didn't change up, ma'am. You did. But you thought you could change him, and when you couldn't, it wasn't enough for you. Gentlemen, this is what I refer to as the typical bait and switch. She knew who he was beforehand, still decided to get married to him, got pregnant by him, and all of a sudden now he's unattentive and abusive. These are the exact same types of emotionally soaked, validation, blood-sucking women that when you tell them no, you were abusive or narcissistic. Hey babe, can we get a new living room set? No, can't afford it. Abusive!
Okay, so I've got a business idea. We need to come up with a robot boyfriend or girlfriend, partner, whatever, for people that are going through a divorce. That way, you don't feel super lonely, and you can or is there like a service of men or women, but for me it'd be man, that I could buy to just give me compliments all day and tell me he loves me and everything's gonna be okay, and call me and check on me and just build me the hell up. And because I don't actually want someone, I just want some affirmation right now.
Pathetic.
So we need to create a service like this. I'm taking applicants right now.
Man, to also tend to every emotional need that she has. And then when she doesn't get it, she goes up on social media to post her pain and her so-called abusiveness from this man for the whole world to look and laugh at. Meanwhile,
I didn't even get to tell everything. But I did it. I stood up for myself. I told the truth. Only a little bit of what's going on, and I'm sure I won't get a 12-month one, but I stood up for myself. It hurt me again. Because now he's on notice. I don't even know. I'm so sad, but I feel so relieved. Just tell the truth. It was humiliating.
you seem to have forgotten your tears at home again, ma'am. Right, wrong, or indifferent, I do not think DV is acceptable if true. But don't forget, she's uploading this entire story for all of her followers to see. She complains about the lack of attention from her husband and instead finds that attention online. And let's not also act like there's certain types of women that leverage restraining orders to gain control. My wife filed a false abuse claim against me after secretly filing for divorce. Holy moly.
Being evicted from my house now.
Immediately, but what
Oh,
you do is
no.
get a ride bag. All right, so we'll go inside so you can get some of your things.
I have to leave with you?
No, you can drive away.
No. What I'm asking you is, I have to leave right now.
Correct. Yep. So you can go inside, gather up some of your things. We allow you that courtesy. And do you have your car here?
I do.
Oh my God. You can barely see his face right here, but just look at the look of defeat. And filed a false abuse claim against him to get him evicted out of the house. So cops come to you and say, it's time for you to leave. Imagine that for a quick second. Imagine you watching this comfortable in your crib right now, and cops come to your door and kick you out of home. Anyone vlogging during a truly emotional time while also admitting their
There's usually at least one single person. Okay, today we're going to talk about how women are really making society completely delusional and crazy. And I really do blame women for this.
Okay.
So my first thing that we're going to talk about. So we're just going to go through some things about the clown world.
Person would have to go through to look after that person.
Don't you think it says a lack of loyalty in society?
100%.
today?
100%.
Because it's like, what percent of
Yeah.
women really would stick around?
Not many.
In this generation, I don't know.
Do you not think?
Nah, not
I mean,
many.
I don't know.
Women divorce their husbands over like damn near nothing.
Literally. Because they lost their job.
Boy,
Empty pockets.
Like, literally, it's
I didn't feel like myself anymore.
You've changed.
I needed to find myself as my favorite one. I'm like, Diane, you have 2 children. What about the kids? Well, I needed to find your children.
What
but
about
this is the thing though, yeah.
go out with your boys?
But this
Smart move. I respect it. But what attracts me just as much as beauty, well, not as much as beauty, I don't think that's fair, but a woman that's level-headed and based.
What
that
do you
can
mean by that? By base?
So,
'Cause I hate that a lot.
okay, cool. So I just said something that you don't like, right? But you're intelligent enough to have a real conversation and not go boom off the wall. Can't hear what I'm saying anymore. We can have a real conversation. That's intellectually attractive. That's a smart thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how a woman can, like, you sit in it. It's the combative women, the ones that want to argue with you and everything's a problem. And then you're like, dude, I'm not arguing with you. I'm an adult. I'm going to act like an adult. If we can have a conversation about, if you can have hard conversations with men about hard subjects and really step back and kind of separate the emotion, because here's the thing. Let's say you agree to that and you stay with a man and you suspect he's doing something behind your back, right? You think you're not going to cry? You're going to fucking cry and you're going to be upset. Hopefully there's enough trust and love in that relationship that you can bring that pain to him and he's there to foster you through it. You look to him to help you through it because you look up to him, because he's there for you, because you trust him, because he has proven himself to you. If you can get there with a man, dude, I truly believe that the chances of divorce at that point are almost next to nothing. Also, by the way, if you are that type of woman, and I'm not trying to do a campaign for promoting women to let men cheat, but he ain't going to leave your ass either. He definitely probably not going to leave you.
Yeah, but they say that.
You said they are very, very simple things.
What do you feel like that women are the most clueless about?
Well, I think a lot of it is the feeling that they need to be, that it needs to be a fight with the man the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I was dating a British girl a few years ago and every conversation was a battle. Like she felt like all the time she had to get one up on me. She had to be the dominant one, you know, in a sort of a girl boss kind of a way. And there were times she could be feminine as well. There were times when she slipped into that space. But in the end, I just thought this is just not an energy that I want to deal with. It's just not an energy that I feel is pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, so
can I ask you to be more specific? Because I like to have I do this with my boys. Sometimes when they're trying to speak to a girl, I tell them to write a text.
Your boys, you mean pupils?
As in my boys, as in my friends, my guy friends.
Yeah,
if they ever ask me for advice on girls, women, what should I say in the first message, and I type it for them. They're quite successful. Can you do that for the girls? What would you write on her behalf to get a man to like her from that first message?
Well, I think it's different. Are we talking about like sliding into DMs on social?
Yeah, how do you slide? How would you advise a woman, like literally, what would you say to introduce yourself and get a tick, tick, tick?
I'm a fan of commenting on stories, and I think this goes for either, on Instagram, I think this goes for either gender, actually. But I think if a girl starts following the guy and then she maybe comments on something, she maybe makes an observation about something, you know, like, oh, I really like that suit you're wearing, or, you know, like, oh, I really like the way that, you know, if the guy's giving a presentation, you know, he's filming himself at work, he's giving a presentation, I really like the way you did that, that was very cool. Making some sort of observation about him, I think, would be a good way to initiate the conversation. I mean, I have to caveat this by saying, of course, it's slightly different this way around because guys are going to judge on beauty. So the first thing he's going to do is go and have a look at her feed and see, you know, is she attractive? So that's going to play a huge part, but I do think personalizing it a bit, and starting a conversation, talking about something that the guy's doing is probably better than just sliding in and going, you know,
hey, how are you?
Can I ask Justin?
I like that.
I'm curious. I had a question that I asked earlier. I think you were gone.
Is a big deal. A woman that can, again, sit down and have a conversation with you, you know, is a big deal. But you're talking about helping, right?
Yeah, well, because we always hear about how like you want to be a man's support system, but I think we don't hear often like specifics on how to do that.
So being really, really helpful in that regard, being able to run an errand for him or be that, you know, but I think what's most important especially for a high achieving man, a high power man, just be his fucking peace, man. He's dealing with stress all day. He's taking major risk. Be the peace, you know, rub his back. You know, do you need anything? Just tell him how much, especially if he's helping you in some way, or even if it's not full charge, family, house, kids. Just he should be paying for most of the meals. That's when it goes back to being the hero. That's what makes doing it so worth it. So proactively looking for things to help him. Hey, I saw the mirrors in your bathroom had shit all over them, so I did them for you. Just little simple shit. Because what's really so hard for men nowadays is that, look, I don't have one of my tenants from one of my apartment buildings call me up and say, hey, Justin, you know, I really appreciate you giving me a place to live. If I hit a construction schedule, the customer doesn't come up from Costco, doesn't say, you know what, we really appreciate you hitting that schedule. So it's a very thankless life for a man, right? As it can be for a woman. But when you're doing these things for a woman, especially when you care about, even as little things like dinners or trips, like if y'all are together, right? Just telling him how much you appreciate how hard he's working and acknowledging the benefit that you're getting will make him turn circles for you. Incredible.
Do you feel like lack of religion or taking spirituality seriously is playing a huge role in why relationships are not working? Because I feel like everything we just discussed now, not being combative, being submissive, helping out, it's all like, for me, I'm a Christian, it's all in the Bible. And I know this generation doesn't really read the Bible as much. So do you feel like that plays a role to why people are so clueless of what it means to be a good wife or a good husband? Because I used to be one of those very combative people, just always argumentative, very toxic. It wasn't until I started to read my Bible that my whole mindset of what it meant to be feminine completely shifted and changed. And I feel like I've made so many improvements in my femininity, and I would want women to know the same thing. And would you agree? Are you spiritual in that aspect?
Well, first of all, I think a big problem that we see is that people are trading out spirituality for practicing religion. Whether you believe or not, Christianity, particularly in my opinion, is the reason that society developed in such a way that it did. It gave a very positive framework for people to live their lives, and they did so. And for that reason, we were able to be organized.
100%.
Men stopped acting like caveman. You know, they still acted on some primal things, but by and largely, it's what created order, and order creates the ability to create strong society.
Amen.
As we lose that, it begins to get a little belligerent, right? I don't feel I feel like Christianity is in a bad place. And the reason I think Christianity is in a bad place is because it doesn't have the backbone to stand up for itself the way Islam does in regards to what we're allowing to have happen in the churches. Right? And for that reason, people are disenfranchised because they feel the disingenuousness and the kind of the two-sidedness of Christianity. I wish Christianity would stand up for what it actually believes in more.
I agree.
And I think people will respect that and get behind it in a different way. And I think that's why you see Islam doing so well right now. This is not me saying I'm going to go to Islam. You know, I grew up in the South in Louisiana in America. I live in Miami now, and it is a shit show in both places. I do believe that the basis of Christianity, which is very close to Islam, by the way, is the way for societies to live and function coherently, organized, and safely. And I think that those values, if instilled into men and women, can be very, very helpful in the success of society, families, and children that are coming up. Yes.
Amen.
Yeah. I would co-sign that. I mean, I think that not just in terms of being submissive in a relationship, but just the whole fabric of society since Christianity has been eroded, which has been going on. I mean, you could say it's accelerated recently, but it's been going on really for, half a century or so, like since the Second World War. Organized religion in this country started to decline, and people didn't buy into it in the same way that they used to. And that really, I think, is at the root of all of these societal problems that we're seeing.
Amen. I did a podcast in a church today.
You did a podcast in the church?
In a church. Because it's not a church anymore. Because they're abandoned. They're having to repurpose these buildings. There's one for sale right now. It's $177,000 on the market right now for sale. It's deserted.
Why do you feel like Christianity, sorry to shift the topic, but why do you feel like Christianity no longer has a backbone? I personally feel like people have taken the God will forgive you no matter what too literally, and maybe that's why, it has no more backbone. I'm curious.
Because people are going directly against what's in the actual word. Like, there's no such thing as gay preachers. Sorry.
Yep.
It's not because I hate gay people. That's not what the religion is. People feel that. You know what bothers people more than anything in the world? It's not the truth. It's deceit. There's deceit in Christianity right now. They're putting gay flags on churches. I just saw one the other day.
Crazy.
Yeah. And look, it's not because I hate gay people. I don't hate gay people at all. But it's not Christianity. It's not what's in the fucking manual, which is the Bible, right? Now, if you have that situation anywhere else in your life, if you have a job somewhere, or somebody makes a promise to you, or somebody does something for you, and then literally they don't do that, you will feel deceit. It's not the truth that bothers people, it's deceit always. So that's what I think is failing. And then we've created a society in which, from a legal perspective, we're not in America. You can literally have children out of wedlock and cash flow from it. The laws are set up in a way. I said this on the show, I think yesterday.
One is online. How do you portray yourself in the best way possible online? What is your ideal?
Okay. Ideally, if you want to be wife material, I would make it be known that you had curves without showing skin.
Okay.
There's a classy way to be sexy.
Right.
The woman that's like very clearly built well, but is not showing it, but she's still showing it, just there's clothes. Right?
Yeah, with a bit of mystery to it.
Right.
Like, yeah.
And it'll drive men wild because now if you go online and you look at a girl's account and first of all, she's got the cleavage everywhere. But if you just scroll down a little bit, you can see exactly what her nipples look like. I don't want a woman like that. I don't want that. You know why? Because a man gets a lot of value from other men out of how classy and how beautiful his woman is. And if she's out there promoting it to the world, number one, that's marketing. So I'd never accept that as a man personally. And then number two, everybody in that group is going to look down upon that man because the woman is out there marketing and they've all seen everything he's got. So the sacredness, and which is one of the most beautiful things I believe that a woman has, is now given away. So I think it's very important to compete because you are competing against BBLs and boob jobs and all those things. But even if you get a boob job, there's a way to show that you have big boobs and a busty figure and you're in good shape without actually showing it, if that makes sense. There's a way.
What do you think about women that get plastic surgery to attract men? Do you think that's a good idea?
I think it's smart. I would do it if I was a woman. If I was a woman, I would have fake boobs for sure. If I didn't have, you understand what I'm saying? Like, let's not cap about that. And I'd also be in the squat rack. And I'd also be doing all the things that it took to attract men. Beauty is very mathematical in a lot of ways. The attractive things about a woman, like as far as bust and shape and all those things are very, very, very real. And although it sounds shallow, it's the basis of the relationship is attraction. So if you can be attracted to somebody and then another thing, I would be at least well-read, understand politics, have a strong opinion, because you're going to want those kind of things. Because, there is nothing more attractive to me than a woman that is based. If a woman is based, like...
We'll have a strong opinion about the right things.
Yeah.
If you're a communist, I don't want to...
Yeah, like, I mean, obviously...
Feminists...
right, and here's a news flash for you. Most successful men are based in pretty much conservative, if you're talking politics, right? That's by and largely. And then if you get a lefty that's successful, he's probably going to be kind of simpy. You're probably going to sacrifice some masculinity there, So for me, the right hobbies, I like the Whole Foods thing, but online, and then make sure you're the kind of class that a man says, okay, I can take her and like turn her and build her and keep developing her because she's already on the right path. She's already the right cloth. Men often pick the wrong cloth, as do women. But being the right cloth from the jump, you're giving that man a canvas to turn you into a queen. So that's what I would do.
Can I ask the question? Like, I understand what femininity looks like from a woman's perspective, but from a man's eyes, like, what does femininity look like to you guys? Because we might have different opinions.
I don't think we do.
Oh, really? Okay, so
what do you think the woman's perspective on femininity
I think femininity is someone who's calm, someone who's able to submit, someone who's able to compromise, someone who takes care of herself. And you guys just have the same thing.
I think you want to be looking at watchwords like classy, demure, modesty, you know, and when you're constructing, say, like an online profile, it's those kinds of things you want to be going for. Like Justin has just said, I mean, you can look sexy, but nice dress, you know, not...
You'd want to know from like a man's point of view.
What do you think is the main problem with men nowadays and the women that they choose? Like, why are they making certain mistakes?
I think that ethics happen a long time before you need them. So men choose not to be in abundance in every area of their life. They're not taking care of their fitness.
Mm-hmm.
They're not taking care of their business. They're not taking care of their career, their style. They're not well read. They're not doing all the things that they're supposed to be able to do to tell a woman that comes into their life, hey, listen, I can't put up with this kind of behavior. You can't have your titties all over the internet. I can't accept that. Mm-hmm. You have to be in abundance to tell a woman no. The woman, and this is not to disrespect women, but a woman needs to know that you can replace her. You need to be that kind of man to earn that kind of respect from a woman. And when you can get in a position with a woman where she knows you can replace her with somebody else that wants to be classy, who wants to take that role, who wants to be submissive inside a frame that you've earned, then you're in the right place. Mm-hmm. And men, by and large, are not doing that now. They're playing the video games and doing the weed or whatever they're not supposed to be doing. And for that reason, they make sacrifices when it comes down to relationship negotiations. Mm-hmm. That they shouldn't make and they don't even want to make, but that's the only girl they got.
Yeah.
And so if they would have been working on themselves the last few years, when it comes to the point of something coming to a head, they can't look a woman in the eyes with conviction and say, this isn't going to work. Yeah. I'm going to be the leader in this relationship. They have to cater. But and what happens with that is she sees him buckle because he's not in abundance. And then
what about the mistake that a lot of athletes make? Because they also seem to end up sometimes with like...
Absolutely. So there's buckets in life. So the money bucket can fill up. You can be the richest guy in the world and be a fucking dork. You can also be completely jacked, ripped, you know, alpha, have game, all those other things, and be broke. Mm-hmm. So a man can't just stop at one thing. So if you were look at like a schedule of values of things in life, you have to be connected. You have to have influence. You have to have money. You have to be fit. You have to be worldly, well-spoken, and be able to be articulate in a conversation and communicate. Because a woman is really going to need communication because it's going to get emotional, you know. So you have to be stern and direct, but at the same time, all these different areas of his life. And some of these buckets fill, and that's what you'll see sometimes. You'll see a guy get ran over the coals because he's an athlete. So he had, let's say, maybe fitness and money, but he didn't have all those other things like frame and things like that to make him a leader. And the next thing you know, he's getting divorced, like that soccer player.
Yeah.
That just got wrecked, right?
Shout out to Hakimi.
Yes.
No
He
frame.
didn't get wrecked. He actually won in that divorce settlement.
Did he?
Yeah, because she makes more money than him technically.
Right. Well, but let's take any athlete that gets
but they
wrecked.
usually
It
go that
happens.
way.
They get wrecked because they look at that one bucket, particularly a money bucket a lot of times. You see a lot of fat rich guys, they get comfortable. They think they're the big boss, but there's dudes out there competing in every category.
Yeah.
And you have to have the frame right.
That's true.
I have a very burning question that's been asked.
Okay, one second. Sneeko has to go. So if
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
I wanted Sneeko to answer this question.
Oh, real quick.
Okay, I have a very burning question that's been answered a million times, but I really need to I still don't understand. Why do men cheat? Like, what are the top 5 reasons to why?
It's just on our DNA. It's never going to stop. I don't even think it's worth asking that question. Just accept it. If you want that level of guy, you got to accept it.
So there's no reason. It's just a natural thing that they just cheat.
It's natural for us to do that, yeah.
Could you expand on that?
Well, the first thing I would say is that a man will, you call it cheating. I think a real man's going to tell you how he's going to be from the jump. There's honesty. It's the deceit that's the problem. Every woman knows that if a man could, he would, you know. So I think the deceit, and not only deceit, is that a lot of times what happens is the man himself is not even showing up how he's supposed to. Guy doesn't show up, he lies, and he's a coward. Where a woman's like, okay, I'm leaving, for sure leaving. But if a man were to sit down, tell the truth, be bold, and a woman is based enough to say, you know what, any man on the planet, if he could be rich, powerful, handsome, whatever it is, he would absolutely have all the women that he wanted. I think the thing that women mistake when it comes to the subject of infidelity or sleeping with women is that they feel like he must love her or that they're on the same level as the other woman. Because a lot of times a woman is less attractive. That's not true. It's just different. And men and women often tend to have sex when they have true feelings for a man. Men are just not that way, you know. So it's the difference between the sexes. But I think women already know that. It's the deceit and the cowardness and the lack of performance from the real good man that's a real good father, a real good husband, a real provider, a real partner, a real ride or die, like somebody that'll sit down with you when you're crying about it and like really be there for you and hold it, not cry with you because we ain't crying around here, but be there for you truly, and you know that they got you in every way and you trust them and look up to them and they're building you and making you better. Dude, you're not leaving that guy. No way. Okay. Even if it hurts and even if you're going to say no right now, I've experienced it enough to know that I'm right.
Do high value men cheat?
Every one of them. No, that's not true. That's